Hey guys, welcome to episode number 518. Today is Monday, so it's Update Monday, and I thought I'd give you guys an update on the axolotls. I know I've talked quite a bit about these guys over the last few weeks, but it just so happens that whatever's going on in the fish room is sort of what you have to focus on. And when you've got more than 500 babies that are all born at the same time, well, it sort of takes a lot of your attention. In fact, this little project right here is taking probably between an hour and a half per day to take care of. And I wanted to walk you through sort of what I did here and what I'm planning to do moving forward. So, as you guys know, these guys hatched about 2 weeks ago. We'll shine a light on these guys and get a little bit closer. There is 125 babies in this bin. There is 125 in this bin. I did manage to separate them all out, or most of them anyways. There's 100 in this bin. There's 100 in this bin, and the rest, I wasn't able to count them yet, are in this bin. I would say it's easily another 125 to 150 of the normals, and then maybe another 50 to 75 of the albinos in here. And so these guys are about 2 weeks old. They are in these tubs, which are, I think, more commonly used for like air travel, like TSA bins, the things you put your shoes in and your laptops and whatever. They also use them for busing, I think, in restaurants. I just got these things on Uline. They work pretty good. They're very rigid. They're very sturdy. You can fill them completely full of water and carry them around, and they're pretty much good to go. But what I did was I just propped these up on a couple of 2x4s and then just some concrete cinder blocks to keep them off the ground. It's winter time, so the floor gets a little cold down here. And as you can see, these tanks are super simple. It's just a bin with water in it. It's probably around 2 to 3 gallons of water per bin, and I do big water changes on these. There's no filtration, there's no light, there's no heat, there's no anything on these. It's just still water and big water changes every day to keep these guys happy and healthy. And as you can see, there is quite a bit of debris on the bottoms of these tanks, but I actually just cleaned these out like an hour or two ago. So all of that debris that you see down there is brand new. So it's a good sign. It means that they're pooping, which is good for now, but I've run into a little bit of an issue. I'm basically maxed out for the amount of brine shrimp that I can hatch, and these guys are devouring all of it. So I have been experimenting and trying to supplement their diet. I'm not sure how well it's working out so far. But what I am doing is hatching baby brine shrimp every single day and feeding each one of these bins. And then I have 2 fry foods that I'm trying out as well to see if I can get them to eat some powdered foods. This one is the My Aquarium box fry food, the 250 to 450 micron. And the other one is the New Life Spectrum Grow, which is a fry starter feed. And both of these are very small in size. It's a powder in form, and what I like to do when I feed those is just to put a little bit of powder on the tip of like a small stick like this, and then dump it in. Instead of using a small measuring spoon, I just scoop up a little bit of powder and dump it in with a little stick like this, and that tends to work fairly well. I'm not quite sure if they're eating that or not, but I figure it's better than nothing. So far, they are all happy and healthy and active and moving around. I have only had a few die, and those were mostly the smaller and deformed ones when they first hatched, so not too bad. I am a little surprised that there aren't more normals out of this batch. Out of the whole thing, I'd say there's probably over 400, easily over 400 of the albinos, and only about 100 of the normals. So sort of an odd ratio. I'm assuming part of that might be multiple fathers, but I can't really know for sure. But anyways, they are eating well. I am feeding them as well as I can, doing multiple water changes per day, and this is sort of the routine. When I come down here, like twice a day, what I have been doing is using a turkey baster and just going along the bottom and scooping up, siphoning up all of the debris on all of the tanks. And I built this little 5-gallon bucket to sort of help me out. And basically what that is just a wastewater bucket with a colander and then a screen mesh on top. So if I mistakenly siphon up a baby and I'm sort of dumping the wastewater into this bucket, the baby won't go in the bucket. It'll just sort of sit on the top of the net. It hasn't actually happened yet, but if it does, I'm easily able to just lift this colander out and put the baby back in the water. I'm also thinking that at a certain point, it's going to become so much work cleaning all of these tanks that it may be worthwhile to just pick up the whole thing and dump a corner of it into the top of this. And if one or two sort of fall out, then I can retrieve them from the top of this net. Otherwise, most of them should stay in the container, and then I can just refill the water from there. Hopefully that's a faster way to do water changes on these, because I'm feeding 2 or 3 times a day, and I'm also doing at least 2 water changes on these guys every day just to keep up. So they are growing. They're growing kind of slow. I think it's just because it's not super warm down here and there are so many mouths to feed, but it's time to feed these guys, so I will get on that. But this is what I have been up to. I think what I'm going to try to do is, once these guys get to a slightly larger size, I'll start to bring them to auctions to see if I can get rid of some of them, bring them to some local fish stores, and just donate them, and see if anyone local might be interested in trying these guys, because 500 is too many to grow to full size. I think they would eat me out of house and home, and I certainly don't have enough space for all of these guys to grow out. But this is the grow out system that I've sort of devised for now. It's working for now. As you guys might have saw last year when I grew these guys out, I only had 100, but I had 5 of these containers, 4 or 5 of these containers, and so I was able to grow out around 20, 25 per container. So I've doubled the size of these containers, or maybe even quadrupled the size of the containers, and now I've spread them out as best as I can along this wall so that I can increase the chances of survival. So I think the next step, the next stage for these guys is they're going to start to grow arms and legs, and when that happens, they're going to become little cannibals. So hopefully I can avoid them eating each other. Hopefully I can keep them as well fed as possible. And what I might start to do here, instead of sorting them just by color, I will probably sort them as best I can by size. Because what will happen is, you can see this clump here. There's one little one there, and there's 3 bigger ones next to it. As soon as those bigger ones can fit that little one in their mouth, they are going to do it. And that's how you start losing them. Because if one of these axolotls is able to eat another one and doubles in size, it can all of a sudden eat every other axolotl in the tank. And that's how you're going to lose them. And you're going to lose them pretty quick. So we'll see what I can do. I don't think there's any way that I'll be able to raise all 500 plus to adult or even sub-adult size, but so far so good. We'll just see if I can keep up with the feedings, keep up with the hatchings of the brine shrimp, and see if I can switch them over to some other form of food as soon as possible. If you guys have any ideas on how I can succeed at this beyond what you've seen me do so far, definitely let me know. But for now, that's what I'm up to, and fortunately or unfortunately, it's going to keep me busy for a while. So hopefully this project unfolds and I can share more of my success and hopefully not failure. So anyways guys, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.